Well, the mamas are all mad at me. This was a straight panel all the way across, and you can tell where there's just a bunch of debris and brush that went through it. We have a new baby calf. Hey everyone, welcome back to the farm. It's Brad with Batchelder Family Farms, and today out here doing a herd check with the cows, checking to see if we have new baby calves and looking at the damage, the storm. We had a big storm come through, over 3 inches of rain the other night, so we're gonna see what it did to our fences and see how it affected our ponds. Just as I was talking, we have a new baby calf. Looks like it's a little bull calf. Probably born last night. Mama's number 39, it looks like. So one of the first things I check whenever we have a new calf is make sure they nurse. So one is either watching them actually nurse, which he might do here in a second. Hey buddy. Or you can also look at her on her teats, on her udder, and I don't know if you can tell, but I can. It's pretty shiny and glossy. So that means that he's gotten on there, he's been nursing, and he should be off to a good start. So before I saw that calf, I started talking about the flies, and well, right here on number 2, you can see all the flies on her. Been over 2 weeks now since I used the vet gun on the bison, and a couple videos back talked about how it'd been like 10 days and the bison hardly had any flies on them. Well, then it rained the next day, and it's pretty much rained every day since then, and now they have flies on them again. Not like the cows, but I haven't done the vet gun on the cows yet because we've gotten all that rain. So I'm waiting until there's a good week that we don't have rain in the forecast so I can get the cows shot and hopefully get their flies problem under control on them. Well, we saw Bolt a minute ago. Here's the big guy, Rubble. Been out here doing his thing. He doesn't have nearly as many flies. When he was young, when he was about 8 months old, he actually had pink eye, and I was worried that, you can't even tell, I was worried that he was gonna lose an eye, but kind of ran its course, and you can tell he's got a little, the eye's a little foggy just in his left eye, but that's it. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good view of it and he's not letting me, but it ran its course, and he doesn't have any more problems, haven't had any since. Well, I'm gonna show you the bad part of when it rains a bunch, but right here, this is the great part. If you've been following us along at all, we had these two ponds completely drained. You can see on the back side of the dam, there's still large piles of dirt we're gonna use to build back up the dam. But the rest of this pond is finally filled to the top. This was finished in late February. I had video from mid-April, and it was hardly even a mud puddle. We had a couple weeks there at the end of April, early May, where it didn't rain at all and it was dry. But since then, since really the beginning of June, this thing has been filling up, and after this last rain, I mean, look at that. All the way to the top. The cows are loving it. I'll tell you who's really gonna love it next year is our son Dean. He is the fisherman, and he is excited to get fish in these ponds so we can start fishing them. Out here in our furthest southwest field from our house, and grass is still tall. Again, waiting for rain to stop. I mean, it's halting our hay production, getting in our fields, and mowing pasture, which I need to do here. But something I wanted to show you, and if you're new to the channel, you're watching for the first time, we're a small family farm just south of Kansas City in Belton, Missouri. And I grew up on a farm just about 20 minutes south of here in Drexel, raising beef cattle and really Angus cattle for, oh man, the last 30 plus years with my dad. And Now we're also raising bison as well, along with our plethora of other animals that Jenna and the kids have picked up over the years. And now we have that we're raising too. But we're a small family farm, like I said. And when we got this property, the field I'm standing in now, this was all cropland. And one of the first things we did was convert this to grass, and that way we could expand, raise more cattle, really do what we were passionate about. But now you can see this whole field. This was all cropland. Over here you can see that's where we just were looking at the pond with the cows. Pretty much everything as far as you can see out here, with the exception of just on the other side of this tree to this fence line right here. Everything else north of that, and everything from that tree to me and over to the cows, this was all cropland. And that's something we've never done. Couldn't even begin to tell you how to do that, but how to grow crops. But we raise cattle, we raise animals, and know how to do that. So really during COVID, our three oldest kids now, they're 10, 7, and 6. But during COVID, they were 6, 3, and 4. And I'm sorry, 6, 3, and 2. And they spent a lot of time in the tractor with me planting grass, was doing our second seeding of everything, and we spent hours. And we had a 7-foot wide no-till drill and just run it up and down, planted 83 acres, converted 83 acres from crop to grass. And this is, the last few years it's looked better and better. This year it has looked the absolute best. Got a great round of fertilizer on it, and we've had a lot of really good rain, but something we're really proud of and excited that we have all of this extra grass now to feed our animals. Well, here's pond number 2 that we had dug out, and we actually didn't break the dam on this one like we did the other 2. We just had him come in with his excavator and dig deep. And this area right over here, the cows had walked in and out so much, they had worn the dam completely down, and there was water all over in this area here. So this is as full as I have ever seen it. This whole dam was just filled with trees all around. You couldn't even see the water. This is going to be our catfish pond, or I guess I should say Dean's catfish pond. It's still got a lot of mud in it. We'll probably start moving catfish in this fall, and in the other ponds, probably in the spring we'll start moving. We're gonna put some largemouth bass in those ponds. So this is gonna be catfish pond, but man, this looks absolutely great. And we actually had an excavator come out and tell us, you should just dump this thing, get rid of this pond, and figure something else out. And we had, I don't know, 3 or 4 excavators come out and look before we finally found the guy who was right for us. But he was like, we'll just take the excavator and we'll dig it out as much as we can, and we'll let this pond be as it is, because it doesn't get a lot of runoff like the pond we were just looking at, and even the one over in front of our house. But there is not some runoff right here, and that's really it. So it doesn't collect a lot of water other than what directly hits it. So that was a great idea. I hadn't even thought about that, and it's looking really good out here. Well, down here in the creek, and definitely not gonna say we had any storm damage because this is very minuscule. We did have the water move some of our fence. So on this side, this was a straight panel all the way across, and you can tell where there's just a bunch of debris and brush that went through it. And on this side, I mean, you can really see how high the water got up, and there's even a limb right up here. So I'm sitting right in the creek bed, and that's 20 yards away from me right up there, and there's a limb that has been moved So water was up on both sides about that far. And then these old gates that I had put across here, across the creek, to keep the cattle from going up the creek. Doesn't matter right now. I have the fences down because we're going to start putting in new fence. But I will get back in here and get this fixed. But it tore all of this apart, and these were chained in together. So I know this was, you can see these chains luckily stayed. Otherwise, we probably would have lost at least one panel. But just the water moved some debris and took out some of our paneling. So if you watched our couple videos ago, we moved the bison from the field they're in right now. We opened up a whole new section. They can still come back over. That was probably 8 days ago now, and they haven't, this is the first day that they've been back over here eating grass. And if I had enough paneling, I would, enough of these freestanding panels, I would move it so they would, what are you doing, Chief? So they'd only be able to be in their new pasture. But I don't, and I don't want the cattle over in this area because they'll graze the ground a lot harder than the bison will. So you need to get my new fence done so I can get these panels moved so I can keep them out. You showing off, buddy? See Big Red? He's got something in his right eye. It's not pink eye. I think he's punctured it on something. It's looking pretty bad though. We've tried to treat it with some spray and stuff, but he doesn't let us get too close, and Mama doesn't let us get too close to him either. Other than that, everybody's looking really good. Chief's wanting to be fed. Sorry, buddy, I don't have any cubes. I know. Since I moved those bison, I used the panels that I had for Darth and Doris here to let them come out of their pen and into the grass. So since we don't have that right now up, every evening we've been letting them out grazing grass, and pretty easy. They just come back in with a bucket of grain. We put them in at night, that way they're not roaming around. But in the evenings, they're just out grazing grass in the yard. And then we've also started letting Rocky, hey bud, he's not so sure about the Ranger. And our real little guy, Curly, letting them out as well. You enjoying that grass, buddy? Last guy to check in on here is our emu, Larry. He has gotten so much bigger. He's still pretty nervous around us. It's okay, buddy. Easy. But when customers come out to the store, I don't know how he picks and chooses, but he's coming up to the fence to some of them and introducing himself. It's okay. It's okay. Every night we lock him in here, put food in the feeder, and then spend some time. It's okay. All right. Spend some time petting him. Makes him anxious still, but he's getting more used to us. Got to keep working with him until before it's too late and he's too big and bigger than we are and doesn't want anything to do with us. Well, thanks for following along today. Hope you enjoyed the checkup on the cows and seeing what all that rain, good and bad. It's not really bad. I'm not going to complain about the rain. Just got some fence to fix. It's not a big deal. I will take fixing fence over not having rain like we haven't had the last 2 years. All the difference in the world for the animals, for flies, for the grass, for hay. It makes all the difference. So we are very thankful for all this rain. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'd really appreciate that. And if you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up. Hope everyone stays well, and we'll see you back here real soon.